Welcome to the B-Max Sports Podcast.
Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Make sure to subscribe on all platforms.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Hope you enjoy the show.
And we're live, back with another episode of the podcast today. This podcast is sponsored by Buffalo Trace. We get no money, but we are drinking it right now. So Josh, me and Josh are here again today. We're going to have a guest on Sunday. Also Sunday will be our 50th podcast. And we've got a little surprise for you guys coming Sunday. We will have video. We do not know how quality it will be, but we will have video. We've been working on it for a while. We've ordered the camera. It should be here Friday. We've got some boom arms and other things to add to our setup. We're in talks with people about either painting our logo behind us or either getting a fat head or some kind of vinyl sticker to put behind us. So big things in the future, I believe. So without further ado, Josh, this is the question I always ask you. How was your day, buddy?
Fantastic, man. Productive day. Got some stuff done. You know, making the world go around.
Yeah, I didn't go to work today, but there is a reason behind that. I got called in last night to help with a changeover. Thank you, work. And I worked approximately 16 hours yesterday, so I was like, fuck that, I'm not coming in. But I will be there tomorrow, and then I'm off Friday, so we got to grind this podcast studio and help build it up. So exciting things. We actually got a table from work and a couple chairs from work, so our setup's already looking a little bit better. I'm excited about it. I know Josh is excited about it. And I failed to mention, we did welcome a new member to our team. We have a editor in training, William White. He's a little goober, but we're going to train him up. He's going to be our editor. That way me and Josh can just record and don't have to worry about anything. He's going to do if we ever go live on Facebook, he'll take care of that for us. We do now have an Instagram and a Twitter, so go check that out. I think the Twitter is TNJ in the AM, and Instagram's just Tate and Josh in the morning. So check that out. We're going to post some video clips and stuff on there and keep y'all updated on there, as well as our Facebook page. I know most of you probably already follow it. We've got a Facebook page now, so we're trying to grow this brand and keep having fun as always. Without further ado, let's jump into these interesting topics we got today. First on my docket I have, and I know Josh... I probably know which way Josh is going to lean on this, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Kyle Rittenhouse is the 17-year-old boy from Wisconsin, I believe. Yeah. Is he from Wisconsin or was he?
Well, he's actually not from. I don't know if he's from Wisconsin or not, but the town that he is from is not. What is it? Kenosha.
Kenosha, correct.
It's not from Kenosha. It's actually 15 miles somewhere in any other direction. I don't know what direction, but it's 15 miles away from Kenosha.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, let's just go through and give the details about what happened. You probably know more about it than I do, so I'm going to let you take that. Go ahead.
So where we kind of left it off was we had talked about it. We saw the initial video that everybody else saw. This is really just, to me, it's an open and shut case. And I'll explain to you why I think so. This man or kid, 17 years old, they're trying to charge him as an adult, and what people did not know.
One thing for me, I did not know they were charging him as an adult.
They're trying to.
So one thing that doesn't make sense for me is you can be tried as an adult at the age of 17, but you can't carry a firearm at the age of 17.
Well, and then
that's so confusing to me.
That's been
so they're saying he's not adult enough to make a decision to carry a gun. But he is adult enough to make a decision to kill somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the meme that's been going around is they have these memes where it's like either trying for an adult or say he's not old enough to own a firearm. And just me and my personal opinion, I don't think that there should be an age limit on personal protection. I just don't. I think that you're anybody, a human being of any age, if someone's attacking you like they were, the video that we got was extremely short. We didn't really see the full context, but as the days went on, we see what was happening. They ran him off the street. They threw Molotov cocktails at him. The guy who got his bicep turned into mist had a pistol, and it was pointed at him.
Did he fire it?
No,
He didn't fire
because
the pistol. Okay, well, either way.
young Kyle gave him the freaking 5.6 beaters and turned Buddy's bicep into what is now a part of Kenosha public safety and their ground.
Yeah. So,
but he actually did work. So the really big controversy was everyone was talking about he doesn't even live in Kenosha. He doesn't even live. Kyle actually works as a lifeguard in Kenosha, and concealed carry was the big deal.
It wasn't concealed. Am I correct?
And that's the thing that people don't understand. Concealed carry only counts for firearms and things that you can't actually conceal. So
Right.
I have my concealed carry permit, and I conceal carry a pistol everywhere I go.
Yeah, I carry a pistol everywhere I go. I never conceal it. Actually, I'm lying. I have the other night I walked into a store with a pistol in my pocket just because it's late at night. I just got off work. I don't want anybody to fuck with me. It's in my pocket. I do not have my concealed carry permit, but I'm not going to let that stop me from protecting myself and making sure I make it on to my family.
Well, I mean, shouldn't our concealed carry permits just be considered the Second Amendment? I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
I think so, yeah.
I understand the premise of the thing. I understand what they're trying to do with it. But I think it's ridiculous that we have this thing that is the Constitution that does give us the right to bear arms. And there's so many, especially in places like Chicago or LA or New York, they just bend whatever law to their will. I mean, I personally think that there's a lot of firearm laws and restriction out there that are unconstitutional, that aren't deemed unconstitutional by the courts. And I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous. I think it's that if we have something that says that we have the right to bear arms, we ought to be able to bear whatever we want. But that's just me.
Well, I tend to agree with that. I really do. Now, I think there's somewhere you have to draw the line. Like a civilian shouldn't be able to possess a tactical nuke, which I don't even know if that's considered a firearm. But people, if you have this open gun where you can have whatever you want, people are going to push the limits. So I understand some having, some control over it. I get that, but sometimes that, like you said, they bend these laws, and I agree with you. Some of them are bullshit. I know I'm still down the middle, guys. I'm not left, right, wing, none of that shit. I use a case-by-case basis, but when it comes to firearms, I think it's really hard to find a way where we keep criminals and people who don't obey the law from having firearms. So if they have one, I'd like to protect myself with one and even that playing field. Yeah. I don't want to have to take a baseball bat to somebody that's got a pistol. That's just common sense. So, speaking of firearms, I did buy an AR. So I am armed.
Have you shot it yet? Yes,
I've shot it. I love it. Shooting guns is just fun in general. Yeah. Like, you don't have to do it for sport. You don't have to hunt with them because I don't hunt. I've got it for self-defense, one. And, of course, shooting is just fun. So, yeah, I do have an AR now.
And that's one thing that I think this whole riot and protest stuff is kind of brought to light is because I know Joe Biden was famous for saying that you don't need an AR-14 with 30 rounds to protect your home. He's like, you can just go out there with your shotgun. Well, at this point, as you saw with those two suburbanites that had to come out in their yard, they had 30 people in their yard, even more than 30. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, it was mass groups of people.
Yeah, you're not taking out 30 people with a single shotgun. I'm just going to be honest with you.
We've seen the damage and the just outright destruction of our country by groups of hundreds to thousands of people. And so I don't think it's fair to the law-abiding people who are sitting in their yards, like that couple was sitting in their house. People come bust down your gate. What are you going to do? You're not walking out there with Grandpa's shotgun, throwing 2 slugs in the double barrel and letting it ride.
I mean, you can. I wouldn't advise that because you're going to run out of ammo, one. You're not going to have enough shots to do any amount of damage. Once they know you're out of ammo, then you're fucked. So, back to the Kyle Rittenhouse. Let me give you my opinion on it. And like you guys know, I give it to you how I see it. How how I judge it on a case-by-case basis. So, one, I have a problem with his mom driving him out there at 17 years old, knowing he's not supposed to have a firearm to protect. Why would you put your child in that situation in the first place? So I question that. One, should he have been there? Probably not. Is it his right to be there? I think it is, absolutely. If he wants to go out there, it's consensual from him and his parents. He has that right. Yes, it's illegal to own a firearm or carry a firearm at the age of 17. It's a tough situation because I see both sides of it. If he wasn't out there, it wouldn't have happened, but he was out there. And his mother him and his mother made that choice to put himself in that situation. But once he's out there, and they start beating him, throwing Molotov cocktails at the business he was trying to protect. Yes, I think it was self-defense at that point. Should he have been out there? This is my opinion, guys. Don't beat me over the head. He probably should not have been out there. At 17 years old, with a firearm, I think it was a bad choice by his mother and him. But once he made the choice to go out there, I don't think he had any other choice but to protect himself. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious too. I think we can look at this from a logical standpoint. If somebody's hitting you in the head with a skateboard, has a pistol pulled on you, is throwing Molotov cocktails, is being violent, do you feel like your life's in jeopardy? I would. Would I let my son go out there? I would not. So I see both sides of it.
Well, and here's the one of the corrections I want to make, because a lot of people didn't know this, because, I mean, you look it up online, PolitiFact was absolutely lying about their links to Wisconsin gun laws, and as a 17-year-old, he was allowed to have that gun.
Was?
Yes, that's a falsehood. I mean,
okay, well, it
was
so it wasn't breaking the law.
It was a lie spread by those guys.
Okay.
But then also, at the same time, I think back 60, even 80 years ago, when the United States had wars, we had 15-year-olds lying about their age going to thing. And do not get me confused. These rioters and protesters are domestic terrorists. Basically, they're terrorizing the community and they live here. That is the absolute definition of domestic terrorism. They are domestic terrorists. And, I mean, that's not something that we can even argue about. Like, whatever side you're on, if you agree with this violence, I mean, you're wrong. And there's just nothing else to talk about. So, I mean, he does have the right to be out there. Saying that he's 17 to me, depending on the person, depending on the uprising, a 17-year-old is a grown man. If I'm in my house and a 17-year-old breaks into my house, I'm going to treat that 17-year-old like a grown man.
Absolutely.
So why is this 17-year-old considered a child? Because, I mean, how many 16, 17-year-olds do you know that have left their parents' house because they don't have a good relationship with them or are out on their own?
Several.
There's several of them. There's a lot of people that, I mean, that's a grown person. By the point that you were 17 years old, you might still be a little bit stupid, because, I mean, I was stupid when I was 17.
I was stupid when I was like 21 still. So.
Well, I'm still stupid.
Yeah, technically I'm still stupid.
I mean, at this point, this is a grown man. And I don't care what the media says. I don't care what anybody says. He is grown. He made the decision, and to me, a just decision, that he went out and he was going to protect the community that he worked in, because that's what he cares about. Should an age limit, especially somebody who's 1 year from being a grown-up, for a legal grown-up, should age limit stop him from doing what he thinks is right?
I would say no.
What he thinks is right is protecting his community. And, I mean, I think we should all feel like that. Is if we see a threat to our communities, see a threat to our people in our community's well-being, because, I mean, that's what it is. Some of these people have worked 20, 30 years on these businesses, and, you haven't seen you see these houses and businesses go up in flames overnight, and they have nothing. So, I mean, what, did they work 20, 30 years for nothing?
You've made some good points. I have to give it to you. When I was making my thoughts on it, I wasn't saying that a 17-year-old can't make good decisions. I just think it's even up, I would say, until you reach roughly 24, 25, I think that's maybe when your mind is fully developed.
It is
something
actually
like
your
that.
frontal cortex fully develops when you're about 25 or 26 years old.
Okay, so
and I wasn't, like I said, I'm not. Would I have wanted my 17-year-old son? Would I say, yes, son? I think it's a great idea for you to go into a crowd with an AR-15 while they're protesting and rioting. No, it's not. It was not a great idea. But should we, because we think it's not a great idea, be able to stop this kid from? I mean, he could have had convictions about these people losing their businesses. So, I mean, should we, because of his age, should we tell him what he can and cannot do?
No, I would say no. Yeah, so we both gave our opinions on that. You guys let us know in the comments after we share this what your opinions are. Of course, we're always interested. Everybody's going to have an opinion about it. So
what you don't hear about, though, what this pisses me off, is because there's been 6 hate crimes in the last 2 weeks from Black Lives Matter. 2 of them include, one was in South Carolina, and one
we know
was,
about that. That was a big one, right? A lot of people took off with that on Facebook and social media.
Where was the other one at? And I thought I wrote it down, but I'm looking at my... one was in L.A., and there was... I think the one in South Carolina was a group of pro-Trump people who were having a get-together, and they were up on a bridge. Somebody drives by, starts shooting shots at them, simply because they're Trump supporters. White guy walking down the street, somebody hits him in the back of the head because he's wearing a hat that they didn't agree with. This is fascism, dude. Fascism, a part of being a fascist is harming and killing people, or attempting to kill people or silence them for their beliefs. And these people claim to be anti-fascists. It is a huge facade. It's all a lie.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm gonna be honest with you. The news must not have taken off with these crimes by the. Are you 100% sure they were Black Lives Matter people? Okay. Well, I can't really speak on it because I'm not informed on it because I haven't seen it on social media. I haven't seen it on Fox or CNN, which I don't really watch them anyway. But I'm not informed on it, so I can't really comment. If it's true, what you're saying, that's a travesty, and I hope there's justice brought if there's not already.
Well, and I mean, it's not even a point of justice right now. I mean, there was a guy I think the dude in L.A. was the one. He was walking down the street, and he had a hat on, and why can't I remember what it is? Man, I can't remember what the hat said, but it doesn't matter what the hat said. It was something that was pro Republican, right wing, whatever you want to call it. And the video says, "Hey, there's a Trumper. Go get him." And then all of a sudden, shots fire out. They weren't saying there's a Nazi. They weren't saying there was a fascist. This man was not bothering these people. And then right after that, one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter claims that she doesn't give a damn that they killed a Nazi tonight. She doesn't give a damn that they killed a fascist tonight. When they had no proof, it was just a man walking down the street minding his business, shot him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's getting out of hand.
That's disturbing. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. That's one reason why I went and purchased myself an AR-15 is because I see the stuff that's happening in the news. I see the stuff that's happening on social media. People don't give a fuck who you are. It's gonna there's a storm brewing out there, and it's strengthening. If I were to compare it to a hurricane, I would say we're at about a cat 3 right now.
Well,
and we're well on our way fastly to a Category 5, and it's going to hit the fan. Yeah. And if you're not prepared, I don't want to hurt anybody. I really don't.
There's a difference between somebody like I wear my outside of work. I wear my Trump hat everywhere I go, and I mean that's just because I feel like it's okay that I support the president of the United States.
I mean, it should be okay to support whoever you want.
There's a difference
between
me and you because I obviously when I go around, I have Trump shirts, I have anti-Hillary shirts, I wear Trump hats all the time. I'm an obvious person who supports the president. You, on the other hand, are not as delved into politics, but they don't care. At this point,
that's what I'm saying. You see these people just targeting at random. Yeah. Don't even know what my affiliation is, what my political party is, what my beliefs are. I don't think it matters at this point. I think people are out for just, I guess, what they would call it justice in their opinion. Which, I mean, I wouldn't really call it justice. That's not my opinion, but
when have you ever seen in history when justice involved killing random people on the streets, strangers that you don't know?
I can say never.
I remember a time. I remember freaking Nazi Germany.
Well, yeah,
and I mean that, and all it was Hitler made the German people think the Jews were against them, and I mean that's all it took to slaughter 6 million people.
It's really disturbing to see the direction our country's headed. It makes me sick. I'm still proud to be an American. I think we're the greatest country in the world, but we're headed to a place that's could definitely see that come to a halt.
Well, I think at this point, all we can do is pray for unity. I mean, that's all
we've got. Yeah,
I think it is so out of hand that we just have to send thoughts and prayers for unity and hope that our country doesn't divide any more than it already is.
Yeah. All right. So enough about Kyle Rittenhouse. Let's talk about what sparked these protests in Kenosha. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what sparked them. The shooting, officer-involved shooting of Jacob Blake. So, like I said last podcast, I didn't want to speak too early. Give you my opinion. I gave you my opinion on what, based on the information we had at the time. Now we're starting to see some conflicting reports come out, which is pretty common in the news, in the media in general. So, one, I wasn't informed on why the cops were at this place. People that were there said he broke up a fight. Well, the research I've done says that's a lie. That's not true. Why were the police really there? I'm going to tell you from what I've seen, what I've been able to research, they were there because Jacob Blake's ex-girlfriend called the cops on him. She already had, what do you call it?
Restraining order.
Restraining order. That's the word I was looking for. Already had a restraining order on this man for sexual assault. Let me tell you what the sexual assault was, because I've done a lot of research on this shit, and I'm here to inform you guys. Like it or not, these are facts. And this is what I've researched. So, Jacob Blake one night, she said, in her own words, he gets drunk about twice a year and he assaults me. Not sexually, this is just hits on her and shit like that. So, he breaks into her house and says, I want all my shit back. She refuses, whatever. She's like, get out of my house, of course. So Jacob, this is in her words now. This is from a police report I was able to find on why he had a warrant. He sticks his finger inside of her against her will, and then smells it. This is her words. I'm not even trying to be funny. This is exactly what the police report said. Used his finger to penetrate her. I'm trying to think of the exact words. Pulled it out and smelled it and said, it smells like you've been with other guys. Proceeds to hit on her. This is all against her will. Proceeds to hit on her. And when she finally comes to and tries to chase him out the house, she realizes her car's gone and the keys are gone. So he stole her car anyway. She filed a restraining order due to this encounter, and he had a warrant out for his arrest for sexual assault. So when he shows up on the property, he is in violation of that restraining order.
Yeah.
She calls the cops, plain out tells the cops, hey, he's on my property. I want him off.
So the finger thing was like on the police. Like that's not.
Here, sure.
It was on the police. That's I don't know how I feel about that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I mean, I don't mean to laugh at it and don't mean to make it because it was obviously traumatic for her, but just that's an odd thing to say, man. That's a terribly odd thing to say.
Okay, it wasn't this one. I'm gonna
It's fine. I believe you. I think you're
all right. Here it is. Here it is. Give me just a second. Let me find out where it's at. Right here.
But isn't it amazing that
the victim, who was identified only by her initials, told police she was asleep in her bed with one of her children when Blake came into the room around 6 a.m. and allegedly said, I want my shit. She told the cops Blake then used his finger to sexually assault her, sniffed it, and said, smells like you've been with other men. The criminal complaint alleges. And according to this what I'm reading right here, she was really disturbed by it at this time.
Well, duh.
I'm just saying, like, she was very emotional. She was scared.
Yeah.
Shaking up.
Because number one, you're asleep.
Yeah.
And then number two.
That's when you're most vulnerable. When you come up out of a sleep and somebody's fucking with you, I get scared sometimes. Anyway, so that's why the police were really there. Is it going to change my mind? We'll see, and we'll give you my opinion again at the end of this. There's a lot of different narratives going on. Of course, his family is going to paint a picture that he wasn't a bad man, didn't deserve this. I'm not saying anybody deserves to get shot. We're not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I don't want anybody to get shot. So of course the family's going to paint that picture, but his criminal record says otherwise. So let's go back real quick, Josh. A lot of people want to point out Kyle Rittenhouse's criminal record. Have you seen it? Do you know if that's accurate?
I haven't seen
I haven't fact checked this, but there's accordingly he's been arrested for drug paraphernalia, other shit. We'll talk about this next podcast because I want to fact check that.
Well, and I mean, okay, all fact checking aside, who cares? If he's been arrested for drug paraphernalia, I guarantee you so has 98% of the other protesters out there. Who cares? That's irrelevant because number one, marijuana is was legal in a lot of states, and it's soon to be legal in probably every state. So, what is that relevant? Again, what is that relevant to a young man protecting his life?
It's
especially while somebody had a pistol pointed at him. I don't think it's relevant.
But I do think when it comes to, especially the right-wing people, as Republicans, when they're looking at the people that were shot, they were bringing up their criminal record and shit. So I understand if we want to look at one criminal record, let's look at the other. I get it.
Well, I mean, that's fine to me.
Yeah, I just want to fact check it before we talk about it.
If you look at the people he shot compared to their criminal records compared to his criminal records, we have a kid who was criminal record is having drug paraphernalia.
Well, there were several other arrests on there too.
We also have,
but none of them were felonies, I don't think.
We also have one of the guys he shot was a serial rapist. So who are we defending here? The kid who was smoking weed or the serial rapist? I mean, that's a no question. I mean, who cares?
I'm not even concerned even with the people that got shot.
I'm not either.
I'm not concerned really with Jacob Blake's past. The only reason I even brought up is this sexual assault warrant
is relevant.
That's why the cops were trying to arrest him. When she called him, she named him. In the 911 calls, you can see it. She names him, my boyfriend Jacob Blake's here. So when they run his name, boom, active warrant for sexual assault. So he's going to jail. One. Okay. So now there's different narratives coming out. Like I said, his parents are painting a picture that he was a great father. Okay, I really don't care what the family says, and I don't care what a lot of the right-wing people say. I'm only concerned on what I can confirm. What I can confirm, boom, had a warrant for sexual assault. That's confirmed. No doubt about it. No question about it. He used his finger to penetrate a woman that was unwilling to do that. 2, I'm almost positive we can pretty much call it a fact that he was armed with a knife at this point.
Yeah.
I've seen the only news outlet I can't find anything about the knife on is surprise, surprise, CNN. Can't find anything about it. But there was a knife. The officer that shot him said he had the knife in his hand. Now, can't confirm that because the cops don't have body cams, which is terrible. That's at this day and age,
it's irresponsible, really.
You've got to have a body cam.
The story I heard about the knife was when he was on the passenger side of the vehicle. This was the original video that everybody could see. It was at a distance, looked like it was on some kind of balcony or something. They were looking onto it. That whenever they approached him, they asked him what his name was. He refused to give them an identification. Whenever they asked him if he had any weapons, he said, "I'd have a knife." They said, "Sir, we would like you to put the knife down. Or at least don't go in your pockets." He again refuses to talk to these people. After refusing to talk to him and after acting aggressively, they shot him with the taser. Surprise, surprise, taser doesn't affect him. Why? We don't know. Just doesn't. You can go look it up on YouTube. Type in people who tasers don't affect, and there's dudes that will sit there and get tased with who knows how many volts the taser is. I don't know. They get tased and nothing happens. They just stand there like a brick wall. So, from what I've heard, there was tasers deployed twice. Have you?
I know for a fact this once. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
They tried to subdue him with non-lethal force. I think that shows that they weren't there to fucking just shoot holes in him. Otherwise, why use a taser? They would have just shot him in the face.
Yeah.
So that tells me the cops were not there with it, which I was almost positive of that to start with. Not there to shoot him in the face. Are there injustices in this country? Yes. Are there innocent people killed by the police? Yes. Is this one of those cases? Don't think so. And this takes away from the people and your credibility of your actual goal to make Black Lives Matter. This guy was armed with a deadly weapon. They tried to use non-lethal force. He resisted arrest, tried to get in the car with kids in there. So you got to think about their livelihood too.
Yeah.
The cops, I'm sure.
And also who's down the street.
Who's down the street. They're protecting us from somebody that has a deadly weapon and is looking to flee the police. If they'll run from the police, fight the police, what are they going to do to an innocent civilian? They don't give a fuck. They don't. If they did, he wouldn't be in this position to start
also,
with.
I think in investigating inside the car, there were firearms in the vehicle. So, I mean, like I said in the last podcast, there's cops there to protect and serve. That doesn't just mean protect the people who they are interacting with at that point. They have to think about the whole situation. They have to think about the environment there, and they have to think about what's going on. They have to think about what location in town they are, because you might have been 5 minutes from a Walmart. He pulls up in a Walmart. There's women, there's children, families walking around the Walmart parking lot. What happens if a shootout goes down?
Yeah.
You're risking, I mean, you got three, because there were 2 officers, I believe. You have 3 people firing random shots in a Walmart parking lot. That doesn't end well.
I agree. All right, so according to his girlfriend, who was, I don't know whose side she's on. I really don't give a shit whose side she's on. I'm going to take her side of the story for what it's worth. She says she thinks Jacob was going to check on the kids. That's why he went to the car. Regardless, if he was going to check on his kids, I can't confirm nor deny that because I don't know his intentions. The police are telling you to stop.
Yeah.
And you're not stopping. Why? Why don't you
So
fucking
was it confirmed?
comply?
Was it confirmed that the kids were in the car?
That's what the research I've done. I can't confirm really any of this because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'm going off of media outlets, police reports, and those could be skewed one way or another. So don't take my word as 100% fact, but due to my research and the number of times I've seen each narrative, I can pretty much say, well, I've only seen this on this one web outlet.
Well, I mean,
but I've seen this on every other web outlet. You know what I mean?
Dude, he knew that, number one, he knew why they were there.
Absolutely, he knew why they were there.
Number 2, I don't care if it was his finger. I don't care if it's his dick. It was he raped her. That's all it is.
It's sexual assault. He has a
So-
warrant. So
so
that's
he
why the
has-
police are trying to put him under arrest. He didn't break up a fight like we were originally led to believe. He wasn't an innocent bystander. He was a criminal and had a warrant for his arrest. Warrant, which means you're getting arrested on site. That's why I believe he resisted arrest. That's why I believe he had the knife. That's why I believe he tried to get in the car to get away, not to check on his kids.
Well, and that's the
his
thing.
kids are in the
that's-
back, and he gets in the driver's seat.
That's the thing that's scary is because, okay, say these cops were bad people. Say that this was just a bad situation for the individuals involved, and you wholeheartedly believe that these cops are bad people. So you go to your car where your kid is, and you put your kid in danger from who these bad. I don't know one parent that would directly put their kids in danger of someone who they believed was bad, whether they had evidence that that person was bad or not.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And this is what really infuriates me about this case, because you look at the real injustices in America, like the George Floyd, like the Breonna Taylor, like the Ahmaud Arbery. You look at shit like that, and that makes me mad that these innocent African-American people were murdered. And then you have this guy, Jacob Blake, who's being painted as a martyr, and he's really not. It's not the same set of circumstances, in my opinion. It's different. And I'm not saying he deserved to get shot. Do not get me wrong. He did not. Nobody deserves that. But when you put yourself in that situation, you can't be surprised when that's the outcome.
Yeah.
Because you know there's only a certain amount of circumstances that can come out of the situation you're putting yourself in. One, you're going to get arrested. If you don't want to get arrested, you're going to have to run from them, or you're going to have to kill them. And the cops got to go home to the police got to go home to their family. And I'm glad he's alive right now, and I'm glad his health is improving, and he's going to get to go home to his family. Eventually, maybe. It depends on I know he's being charged with several things, including the...
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, how good is that for his kids? How good is that for his girlfriend that, number one, you have a man who is obviously a piece of shit because every time he gets drunk, maybe twice a year, who cares how many times a year, he comes home and beats the hell out of his old lady.
That's her words. That's not our words, guys. That's from New York Post.
And that's documented. That is her account of what happens.
Yeah, regardless of what she's saying now, she painted a different picture of him.
Number two, he sexually assaults. He sexually assaults her. And this is, like I said, like Tate just said, this is all prior to this happening. No matter what she said then, this is what she believed. This is her truth from before this happened. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen any interviews with her, so I don't know. I don't know what she's claiming now, and she might be claiming something. God. But I mean, she might be claiming something different. But
now she's saying, like I said, in her words, that he was going to check on the children. It looks like she might be trying to take up for him a little bit, which is fine. If she thinks she knows his intentions, I'm all for her giving her side of the story. But regardless, this is a man that sexually assaulted you, has beaten you, according to you, several times.
Yeah.
You understand why the cops are there because you called him there. And it wasn't that he broke up a fight. It's just about the media paints such a picture.
How many times in a domestic violence situation where you've heard that guy's beating the hell out of his wife or girlfriend, whoever the situation is, they call, the police come, intervene, and the girlfriend's crying, screaming, and yelling at the cops for taking him away after the scene. I mean, it's something that, and she might love Jacob Blake. Who knows?
And I'm sure Jacob loves her. Or he wouldn't be risking his freedom to go on her property. And like I said,
that's neither here nor there.
It's an unfortunate circumstance that somebody was. I'm almost positive the police don't go out, wake up in the morning. Some probably do. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure it's a minute amount of the police officers wake up every day and are like, "I can't wait to fucking shoot somebody today." I don't think that's the majority at all. I think cops. You seen the Dinkheller case in Georgia. Here in our hometown, the cop refused to shoot a guy that was loading. I think it was AK-47, loading a rifle. Refused to shoot him, and he ended up losing his life. So you see both sides of the story. Understand it's tragic that somebody was shot, but don't paint a false narrative. Put the facts out there and let us make a decision based on that.
And here's the bad thing, and this is kind of what I'm going to end on this, is you saw what happened in Chicago, the misinformation. Well, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say purposely misinformation. That these people don't sit and wait. They don't wait to find out. Guy gets shot by a cop, automatic riots. And I mean, it's an unfortunate world. It's an imperfect world that we live in. But there are going to be some people who get shot by police. I mean, it's something that we cannot avoid. There's going to be people shot by other citizens. It's something we can't avoid. Human beings are not perfect. There's going to be things that happen like this. And I think that we've come to a point where we're so comfortable in where we live, like that we're in such a time. I think Joe Biden said that more people have died. He was making a comment on the COVID-19. This is not relevant to what we're talking about right now. He made a comment that more people have died this year than has died in the last 100 years. And it's false. You look at World War II, you look at Korea, look at all those. That's just blatantly false. And he's pandering to people who don't know any better. He's pandering to people who do not know their history. He's pandering to people who are uneducated. And should people be pissed off about that? Yeah, they should. As a politician who's running for the president of the United States who is just deliberately lying to them. And it sucks. It sucks that we've gotten to this point.
It does. And I'll agree. We'll end there on Jacob Blake. Like I said, in my opinion, may change again with new information that comes out. I don't think we've heard all of this story at all. I think there'll be more accounts, possibly more video that will be released to the public eventually. And my position on this may change again. But right now, I'm at the point where I think there's a big misinformation by the media going on with this case, and that's why I didn't want to speak on it too early. Again, like I said, we still don't have all the information. Anyway, let's move on to my next topic, Levi Frady update. I had somebody comment on one of my Facebook posts asking for an update. Well, here's your update. There's not one. I haven't heard from Fuzzy Nuts again in Valdosta State Penitentiary. I haven't heard from him. He hasn't replied to any of my messages. Just like he said he wouldn't. I read all the messages when he sent them to me. He said, I don't want to talk to you. Pretty much fuck off is what he said, and I guess he meant it. I'm checking again right now just to make sure. Nope, nothing since August 8th. Tommy Samples has fallen off the face of the earth. So I need you guys' help. Should I go take a road trip one weekend and just pull up in fucking Cumming and find the cousin of, what's it? Now I can't even remember his name. Marshall Talent. Should I find his cousin and fucking just walk up to him with a video camera and confront him and see how it goes, or what? Y'all let me know.
Dude, please don't comment yes. I'm really, because I know Tate will freaking do it. And I honestly,
right,
if Tate does it, bro, I'm going to be sitting at the crib drinking a Miller Lite, and I'll tell Tate to FaceTime me so I can witness his death in that parking lot.
I can tell you one thing.
I just don't
happen.
I don't see anything good coming from this, because obviously, okay, the man owns a business. Whether it's thriving or not, I do not know. But he owns a business. He has a livelihood. Maybe that's behind him. Maybe he has nothing to do with it. But I definitely think that he'd be really pissed off when you come up and start bringing up that stuff.
Yeah, you're probably right.
This is one thing that I've kind of, Tate's mentioned it several times, that I think is a terrible idea. And I've done a bunch of stupid stuff in my life, but I think that this is one of the ideas that I have to sit here and say, Tate, not great.
You're probably right. I probably won't do it, but I'm almost out of options.
And I mean,
so the people that have been reaching out to me, if you know something, know where I can go next for a new lead, let me know, because I'll follow up on it. I might try to come in contact with him without going up there and without making a scene, without recording this conversation. Just see if he'll talk to me, see if he knows anything about the case at all. We'll see. I'll have to do some research, get his contact information. That's what I'll do. I'll just contact him and see what he's got to say. And
I mean, that would not, to me, that's not a bad idea. We're just following up with some stuff. I mean, we promised we would try to follow up with y'all guys. So, and I think that would be, I mean, obviously he has a choice to either message you back or not message you back.
Yeah. And I mean, it's up to him. I mean, like I tried to tell Tommy Samples, man, this is your opportunity. I have a platform that's not very big right now, but it might be one day. This is your opportunity to clear your name and clear your family's name. And from what he said, clear Marshall's name. Tell me what you know. Talk to me. You know, we can have a civilized conversation. I'm not accusing you of shit. I actually don't think he had anything to do with it. But he couldn't seem to comprehend that. Dude, did you... All right, moving on to our next topic. Did you see what David Blaine did today?
No, I did not.
Holy fuck. You know David Blaine, right?
Yeah,
he was just on Joe Rogan's podcast, The Magician.
Did you listen to the entire podcast?
Yes, I did. It was amazing. I watched most of it on YouTube. I saw him stick the ice pick through his arm and it beat the frog.
I got to that point because I was going to St. Simon's last weekend. No, not the weekend. The weekend before that, and I was listening to it on the way up there. And whenever he started doing his little spiel, doing that stuff, I kind of quit it because I was going to watch it on YouTube just because I'd seen some stuff.
Yeah, it's better on YouTube.
So I'm going to watch it again, but I've seen a bunch of the stunts that he has done.
He's badass.
And yeah, he really is.
So today, he took a fucking bundle of balloons, wrapped them around his hand, and flew to an altitude of 25,000 feet. And YouTube documented this. Look at this shit right here, dude.
So here's my question. How do you know the balloons won't pop? Because of this, I mean,
Well, he's done several.
He's got to be. I mean, the dude has to have balls of steel. Because if I'm going up there, I want some kind of net to follow me. Because I don't necessarily have.
Well,
a death
he had a
wish.
parachute. He had a
Oh,
parachute.
he did. Okay,
Yeah,
that
was
was
just
what I was.
Okay, so what happened? They were latex helium-filled balloons. They weren't your normal party balloon. They were tricked out, could be deflated or popped remotely if they needed to. One balloon was made of fiberglass and held his parachute and oxygen. So that's how it worked. But he went to 25,000 feet and then ejected himself and parachuted to the ground. That's still fucking psycho, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nuts.
What if he... I don't know. I'll have to watch the video and see how the balloons were tied to him. What if he fucking accidentally lets go of the balloon that has the parachute in it? He's fucked, right?
Wait, the balloon had a parachute? The
Yeah,
parachute
right
was
here.
not attached to him?
That's what it's saying right here. It said one balloon made of fiberglass held a parachute and oxygen. The apparatus also allowed for the stunt to be filmed. So I guess they had like a GoPro or something on there. That's fucking insane, dude. I don't give a shit.
Some of his stunts, like he was talking about how he was encased in the ice for 70-something hours, was it not?
Yeah.
And that at one point his heart
Was beating
dropped
like 8 times
to
a
8
minute.
times a minute. That's insane.
Dude, this dude's a fucking like a ninja or something, you know?
Yeah.
I really like David Blaine. I didn't realize he
Well,
was
it's just cool that
still young.
human beings like that are out there that like do stuff like that.
Push our limits.
Yeah. And I mean that's what he does. He does breathing exercises all the time. They were it was kind of interesting. They had talked about people who really mastered the art of breathing, and like I say that and people come like, the art of breathing, we breathe without even thinking about it. There's people who, I mean, when you listen to this podcast and you start understanding like what you can do as a human being, that if you do master this art of breathing, that the stuff that you can do with your blood, with your mind, stuff like that is incredible.
Right. And David Blaine's one of those guys. He does some incredible shit.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to talk about?
Did you see what the CDC came out with recently?
Probably, but...
The 6% of COVID deaths in the United States.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
At this point, now I'm doing some tests of my own, but at this point, I really, really think it's bullshit. I think it's a legit disease, but I think what we're experiencing now because of this, and this isn't new, this isn't something like some hot take, because we've talked about it before, there's several other people that talk about it. What we are experiencing now is something like we've never experienced before, and it is a test. It's a test for the American people, and to me, it's a test for what goes on and how they can, because, I mean, you think about something. 6% of COVID deaths were actually COVID. There's been 150,000, it's my work phone. There's been 150,000 people die of COVID roughly, and 6% of them have died directly of COVID. There's been underlying diseases. What concerns me the most, and those who know me, that I know I am not in any kind of physical fit shape to be talking about this, so I'm preaching to the choir here. What concerns me the most is because there's been a lot of people talk about how if you were in good, healthy shape, that it promotes health during this. I mean, people, even if you get it, you're more likely to live because of this, that you are healthy. They're promoting masks. They're promoting social distancing. But one thing you have not seen them promote is trying to promote you to be healthier, to eat healthier, to exercise. And there's been a lot of studies out there that say that if you are in good condition, that it is less likely to affect you. And I mean, there's some, obviously this virus attacks people in different ways, and there's some people out here that were healthy that really did mess up. But I mean, there's so many different factors.
Yeah.
But to me, this 6% thing just proves to me that there's something else. That there's some kind of agenda, at least in the media's coverage, that there's something amiss. There's something that they're trying to do that is behind the scenes.
Yeah, that would make sense. So basically, I seen this on Facebook, I believe. A lot of people are arguing about the context, et cetera, et cetera. But I take it at face value that 6% of the people died strictly from COVID. The other 94% of people that have died from it had other health issues. But I could see, like I said, I'm pretty much middle of the road. I can see both sides of it. Of course, probably 94, the part of the 94, I would say COVID probably caused a number of their deaths. They probably wouldn't be dead today if it wasn't for COVID, but it made their other diseases and other health issues worse. So, I mean, I understand this disease is a problem. I don't think it's nearly as big as we make it out to be.
Well, I mean, the flu's a problem.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The flu is a problem. And I guarantee you, 6% of the people who get the flu isn't just, 6% of the people who die from the flu isn't just because there's far more people who die directly from the flu than they do directly from COVID. And I'm afraid to see what happens in the future. I really am, because, and there's, like I said, there's going to be a lot of people out here that disagree. I mean, COVID's a real thing, blah, 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 blah. It's 100% a real thing. COVID-19, Jesus Christ. Excuse me, folks.
You might want to answer that.
Yeah,
Get fucked, buddy.
I don't know.
You gonna answer it?
No. But anyway, I don't see an end to this. And honestly, there's, to me, the people who are in power right now are enjoying this much more than they should. Enjoying being able to tell us what to do, tell us what we can do, tell us when we can and cannot go out of our homes. Tell us that when we go into public, we have to do this. We have to do multiple other different rules. I just don't see it ending well. And this is not me being some kind of conspiratorial person. This is just, I think that everybody should be scared about government overreach. I think if you want to have a fun life, if you want to live life to the fullest, you should be worried about government overreach. And I mean, that's just my opinion, and some people don't share it. But I don't see a world in which we want to live in this or live like this.
I'm ready for the shit to be over. This bullshit, especially with college football coming up, man, it's going to be a totally different season. It's going to be a fucking weird year.
Well, think about this, dude. We were just talking about this the other day.
Speaking of this, no, go ahead. Go ahead, actually. Go ahead.
I was talking about, it's a side note. Me and Tate were just talking about this the other day. For all you hunters out there, dove season is upon us. Think about what we could be doing. Sitting in a dove field, listening to the UGA game on the radio. COVID is stopping us from this.
Wait, you can't dove hunt?
Oh, no, you can dove hunt.
Oh, shit, okay.
But usually the opening day of football season falls on the opening day of dove season. And it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, shit, okay. I wasn't aware because I don't dove hunt.
I don't either.
Did you see where Jamie Newman...
Screw you, Kyle Woodard. You didn't invite me to your dove field.
Get fucked, Pinky.
Pink.
Hey, did you see where Jamie Newman opted out today?
Really?
Yes. You didn't see Noah text us in that fucking group and was running his mouth.
I didn't do anything to know. Let me let y'all understand this. Those of you who don't know Noah Rios, listen to me well. If you ever are involved with Noah Rios and he texts you, ignore it. I mean, that's just what I do. He texts me. Dude, jeez. Hold on. Let me read y'all what this man texts me.
Oh, God. Here we go. I'm in this group with you, just so you know.
No, this isn't a personal group. This isn't the group. This is what he texted me the other day.
Oh, shit.
He texted me and said, Josh, I had a dream. And I said, what was your dream? Don't make me regret asking. And he said, I had a dream that my dick was just too big. And I said, And
That's,
I said,
that's
yeah,
why,
that was a dream.
In fact, it was a dream, yes.
and I mean, that's just who he is. He's just so, no, I have not looked at all of Noah Rios' text.
Well, he texts in there, and
today.
that's one thing you can believe. I seen it on 247 Sports Break earlier today. Jamie Newman has opted out. Now, that sounds very fishing to me that he waits this late to opt out. After several weeks of practice, I smell a rat in the room. I think maybe JT Daniels was beating him out.
Well, and that
spot.
was about to be what I was said. Do you think it's because, and I have no problem with anybody who's genuinely concerned about COVID-19 opting out.
I mean, either. That's their decision.
And taking that, but I have, do you think that he just did that because he knows he'll have another year of eligibility?
Possibly, yes. And coming into a new offense with new skill players around you, it can be hard to make that transition, especially from a conference like the ACC to the SEC. You want to make sure you're completely ready.
Yeah. Well,
maybe he made a business decision. It's like, hey, I don't think I'll be ready this year, especially with this year being a weird year with only 10 games. I want to make sure my last year I put some film out there that can get me to the next level. Maybe that was his thought process, which will make
because I mean
sense.
This was going to be his last year, was it not?
Yes, but now if I'm not mistaken, I'm not even going to say this because I don't know.
But he stayed at UGA, correct?
Yeah, he hasn't announced he's leaving or anything.
There's no announcement of like a
no transfer or anything. As far as I know, he's just opted out for the season. And so one of two things. What you said, he's genuinely scared of COVID, and I mean, he has that right as a human being. Maybe JT Daniels was starting to catch onto the offense a little bit better than him, despite being there a shorter time. Maybe he's catching onto the offense. Maybe he's a better fit to the offense. I don't know. But what really scares me is, for Jamie Newman's sake, if he doesn't beat him out this year, what makes him think if this guy, let's say JT Daniels, which in all likelihood is going to be your starting quarterback, gets all these in-game reps against great defenses and gets all this experience, how are you going to beat him out next year?
Well, and I mean, that's the same thing that happened with Jacob Eason. Unfortunately, to me, Jacob left in a class act. He took his year of ineligibility, went to go play in his home state, and I mean, did well for what he had. So and we all know what happened with him. I mean, he gets injured, Jake Fromm takes over. Jake Fromm leads them to what was some of our best seasons we've had.
The national championship in his freshman year.
So, I mean...
Yeah, it was obvious once Fromm took the helm, he wasn't coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, they knew.
You can't take him out.
I mean, Jacob knew, okay, this is Jake Fromm's offense now.
It's his team.
So
yeah.
What do you do? So do you make that decision hoping that he doesn't make the cut, or do you work harder? And I was truly excited about Newman because I've seen some film about him, and from what I've seen in the SEC is that as a conference we are evolving. And I think it's evident because everyone used to run that same old pro-style offense that you throw a couple plays, but as soon as you can run it up the gut, you're going. You're sending that piss missile up the gut. And the SEC is evolving. That's changing. You have number one, faster DNs. That you got guys who are 300 pounds, 350 pounds that run a 4.4. That's stupid. So, and honestly, to me, I'm really excited about this football season.
Oh, me too.
And it's not just because we're having football.
That's exactly what it is for me. It's just because we're having football. Fuck it.
Dude, this entire SEC, like every game's going to be SEC. All this stuff's going on. This is going to be a banger of a football season.
And we are going to have a show every week. Me, you, and hopefully Zach Rios can find time in his busy-ass schedule to get his ass over here and film a show that we're going to release, as of right now, on Saturday mornings. So instead of watching College Game Day and all them fucking old fuckers that don't know shit about football, you can tune in to Tate and Josh and Zach in the morning, motherfuckers.
That's exactly. And who's that? Damn. Who's Cruz? What's that old dude? God damn.
Corso?
Yeah, Corso.
Oh shit.
God.
Lee Corso.
So instead of listening to Lee Corso, and they literally wheelchair his corpse into SEC headquarters to make a prediction. Listen to us, because we have the great and mighty Tate King, who knows all.
We're gonna do predictions. We're gonna do. We're gonna do other conferences as well. We're gonna do, I think, 10 games. We'll do 10 games a week, and we're gonna keep up on a little fucking board over to the left. That when we get our video, you will be able to see it. And we're going to go week by week, and we're going to keep up with this shit. Sue's the fucking football guru.
Dude, I'm excited about what we've got going on.
Me too. You guys stay with us. Trust me. These podcasts have been, I think they're still good. I still enjoy doing them. I will say stagnant, as in we're not improving. But, man, we're fit to make huge improvements here in the next couple of days.
At the time, because, you think about it, we're really like a kind of current events podcast. We talk about what we want to. If we don't want to talk about it, we don't. If we do, we'll go 3 episodes and talk about whatever we want to. So, obviously, in the past month and a half, 2 months, we've had the same news for...
Yeah, it's this COVID shit, too, has a lot to do with it. For a long time, we weren't able to be in person. We weren't able to grow our podcast like we wanted to because of COVID, because of the fear and social distancing policies. But now that we're starting to get a lot of our freedoms back, we're fitting to have bangers. Like, these shows on Saturday will be dedicated to college football. We'll probably start out by talking about the previous week, maybe some upsets we've seen, talk about our predictions from the previous week, some of our breakout players, and then we're going to talk about the upcoming week and make our predictions. It's going to be a banger. You guys are going to want to tune in. We're going to be decked out in our fucking... Well, these two clowns, Zach and Josh, will be decked out in their little red and black barking at motherfuckers.
Listen, let me tell you something about my lucky Georgia shirt. Jake Fromm's freshman year. Go back. Back in the past. I wore this Georgia shirt that is raggedy as hell.
On all of them?
Every game except for the national championship, and we lost.
You really fucking balked, yeah.
Dude, I screwed the whole team.
Which I'm happy about.
So this year, I'm wearing, dude, every game day and every time we record, you're going to look at this shirt and be like, that is the raggediest shirt I've ever seen ever.
Well, I was going to say that anyway, if it's a Georgia shirt.
Listen, that shirt has luck. Well, and if I don't wear it, we'll lose.
I'm going to, when you come in here on the day of the Florida-Georgia game, I'm going to strip you fucking butt naked of it and make sure we win. All right.
And I've been, like I said, literally within this last week, we've made leaps and bounds, I would say.
A lot of doors are opening, so we're knocking the bitches down.
We had a door open that we thought was going to be really good. It closed. But don't you worry.
It's not going to stop
We're
us from
still
getting
out
video.
Here. It's not going to stop us from grinding.
We're grinding. Like I said earlier, make sure y'all follow us on all our new social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure to subscribe on all platforms as well. That way you get notified when we post a new podcast. So this podcast will be up Thursday. So I hope y'all finish the week out good. And make sure y'all tune in Monday for our first video version. It'll be on YouTube exclusively. The video will be. You'll still have the audio only versions, of course. And it's a big milestone, our 50th episode. So y'all hang in there with us. We're coming.
Shout out to our new editor out here. Will. Been literally entertaining me the whole entire podcast because I'm not staring at a wall anymore.
Yeah. So we appreciate what he's going to do.
We've got big things coming, guys.
Yeah, we do.
We really do. And all this content we're trying to do for y'all, we're trying to make it better. So, even if we have just the fans that we have now, the people who dedicated listeners, during this
that'll be fine with me.
During this podcast, I put up a Snapchat of me and Tate, and I had literally like 10 or 12 people Snapchat me and be like, facts. So, just those guys will keep making it for y'all. Hit up your friends, tell them about the podcast. Just try to blow this thing up because, the more support we get, the better content we can make, the better video we can make, all this stuff. Somebody freaking sponsor us, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to shoot a porno.
Friedrich, sponsor me, bro.
I'm trying to shoot a porno. We're going to have a casting couch eventually. No, I'm just fucking with y'all. All right. Anyway, we're out. Y'all have a good rest of your week. like I said, tune in Monday. We'll be live and in person with y'all. Peace.
Holla.
Thanks for tuning into the B-Max Sports Podcast.
40, 1, Lindsay, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, Lindsay, stop.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Listen, my whole family loves it, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
We'll see you next week.
Go rock this thing, huh? Love you, man. Let's go get it.